Hi guys, welcome back to another fishing tutorial. In this episode we're going to talk about how to tie up a surface fishing rig for carp. Surface fishing really comes into its own in the spring. The water's warming up quickly and the carp are in the upper layers of the water, and this is the perfect time to catch them off the top. Baits like dog biscuits and bread are great for loose feeding and as hook baits, but companies do also produce specific floating carp pellets. In our opinion, fishing with a free-line bait is definitely the most subtle way to approach a surface feeding carp. However, a lot of the time the fish are out of range of free-lining and you need to use some weight on the line, so you can use a surface controller float. The float gives you enough weight to cast into the lake and also creates a semi-fixed setup so the carp will hook itself against the weight of the float. To tie a surface fishing rig you will need the following items: an interceptor controller float, some dedicated floater line. This is a clear neutral buoyancy monofilament. We use 12 pound for mainline and 10 or 8 pound for hook link. Your hook of choice, this is a mixer hook in a size 12, some brown coloured pop-ups and some boilie stops. You'll also need some scissors and a baiting needle to tie this rig. Let's get started by tying up the hook link. Peel off a length of 10 pound cruiser control line. The length is up to you. In clear water, it pays to go longer, sometimes up to 5 or even 6 feet. However, in murky water, when the fish are unlikely to spook off the float, a foot or two is fine. With the hook link cut off, tie a small overhand knot in one end. This is what you'll mount the hook bait on. Once the knot is tied and the tag end trimmed, push a pop-up onto a baiting needle. Then thread the pop-up down onto the loop. Place a boilie stop in the loop and pull down. Now your bait is mounted on your line. We like to trim it down a bit so it looks more like a dog biscuit, as this is what we tend to feed. Next, take your hook and thread your line through the eye towards the point. Thread it down to the bait and set your hair length. We like to use a very short hair when surface fishing, so the hook is tucked up close to the bait. Wrap your line around the shank of the hook approximately 7 times. Then pass the end back through the eye towards the point and tighten the knotless knot down. At the other end of your hook link, tie on a swivel which comes with the controller float. For this we use a blood knot, but a uni knot will also be good. Next, take your float and pull out the inserts. You'll need to thread your main line through the float, then the inserts. And then tie a figure of 8 loop knot in the end of your main line. The loop will pass over the quick change swivel which comes with the float. Then you can pull the insert back inside the float and the swivel will locate neatly in the end. This soft insert grips the swivel enough to turn the rig into a safe bolt rig. A fish can hook itself against the weight of the float, but if you snap your line, the float can slide off to ensure a fish never gets tethered to it. These floats come in a range of different sizes. We normally use the 30-gram model as it suits most of the venues that we fish. However, the 15-gram model can be great for small venues where you only need to make a short underarm flick. On the other hand, the 50 to 80-gram models are great for whacking out over 100 yards on big lakes. When casting that far out, it's almost impossible to see the fish take the hook bait unless you've got binoculars. So normally what we do is just wait for the float to pull away and the fish to hook itself. When fishing closer in though, it's great to watch that hook bait and set the hook just as you see that hook bait disappear into the fish's mouth. One last tip is to always keep your line buoyant. It's important that your line never sinks beneath the surface, as carp, as they come up to feed or swimming mid-water, will come into contact with that and potentially spook off it. A great way to keep your line floating is to use Vaseline. By threading this up your main line and your hook link, you can keep your line really buoyant and sitting on the surface all day long. Thanks for watching this video on how to tie a surface fishing rig. If you want to learn more about carp fishing, click here to watch plenty more tutorials. See ya.